Now, a survey of women working in football has revealed that almost 80% have experienced discrimination in the workplace, with 2/3 subjected to sexist remarks. The survey published today by Women in Football also reveals that 22% of women have also experienced sexual harassment. And respondents also said that no action was taken in more than 50% of cases that were reported. A third said they decided not to report incidents because they felt no action would be taken, a similar number adding they felt reporting would have a negative effect on their careers. Well, Yvonne Harrison, the CEO of Women in Football, who put together that report, joins us now. Yvonne, very good afternoon. Can we start with some of the context about the survey? When we say working in the game, give us a sense of who does this actually cover?
Yeah, so it covers people working right across the football industry, whether that's people working in entry-level roles right through to C-suite and directors and everything in between, technical staff, people in administration roles. So people in clubs, leagues, brands that work with football really does capture everybody.
And it is now, Yvonne, the 5th year of the survey. How do you evaluate this year's results? I mean, how do they compare to the 5 years that have gone before us?
Yeah, we actually have 10 years worth of information. The last 5 years, we've repeated the survey annually to try and track the trends. And what it shows us is that these stats are relatively static. Levels of discrimination last year were slightly higher. But sexism and misogyny, are significant areas where people are experiencing that within their workplace environment. What it is showing us is that progress is not happening in all areas of the game, and it's certainly not happening quick enough. And what we need, and I guess the call is for football stakeholders to work together to ensure that these environments that women are working in are conducive to them being the best versions of themselves, which benefits everybody in football. And there's a real fear, as we've seen there from some of the statistics that you've shown, that if women call out discrimination within their businesses, they might be moved on, they might be seen as trouble causers, and that's not a great environment for anybody to be able to thrive and reach their potential.
I'm guessing that one of the most worrying aspects of the results is that trends aren't changing. I mean, there's that. And what else is a concern when those stats arrive back on your desk and you kind of took them all in?
Yeah, I think, the trends are slow. I think what we have to do is put that in context of individual people can take ownership and responsibility of their behaviours and their allyship. But we're battling against systems and systemic sexism, essentially. So it's about operating at multiple levels, really, for us. It's about supporting women in the industry. We have almost 12,000 members. 13% of our members are men. So Women in Football is not only an organisation for women, supporting them with their professional development, their confidence to overcome and be able to face some of the challenging environments they might be in. It's also about supporting organisations. We've got a number of football clubs and brands that work in football who are club and corporate members of Women in Football. So supporting them directly to help them create better workplace environments for all staff, but particularly for women. And then also, I'm just sat outside the House of Lords, actually, as we talk about these events in more detail shortly. But actually, it's about, advocacy and lobbying of ministers, of MPs, of government, of parliamentary groups to ensure that women, we are half of the population, and yet we're experiencing such high levels of discrimination. We contribute massively to the economy. So we need to do something to ensure that, organisations are safe places for women and society is a safe place for women. At the moment, there's a significant kind of backlash. We've gone too far with gender equality and things like this. It is the sort of rhetoric. And women aren't underrepresented in society. We're half of the population, and we have the right to fairness and equity and to be able to thrive in the environments we choose to work.
If you could ask employers to change one thing about the way they go about their business daily, what would that be? If you could speak to every single one of those employers right now.
I think to every employer, whether they're in football or not, it's to listen to women's voices and create that safe space so that they can talk openly about the reality of what's happening, the good and the bad, because we know there's high levels of optimism as well for women working in this industry. So it's not all doom and gloom, but listen to women's voices, invite them into conversations, and I'm sure businesses will be better as a result of that.
You mentioned 13% of women in football are men. I mean, that's absolutely key, isn't it, to getting this message? What do you say to those kind of male allies, or those that aren't currently male allies?
Firstly, to the men that are involved with women in football and championing women in their businesses, thank you. It matters. Secondly, to people that aren't, Women in Football is an organisation for you. If you work in the game and you want to create support and great environments for colleagues, then join Women in Football. It's free. So there is no issue there. And actually, sometimes men, when I speak to them at different events that we run, will say, I'm not quite sure how I can support my colleague the best. Should I jump in? Should I not? I don't want to be overbearing. So just be curious and ask the questions. I can't imagine too many women would turn around and be insulted by the fact you're asking, how can I help you? Within this environment. Just be part of the conversation and don't think it's somebody else's problem. The only way we drive towards more equality is if everyone is part of that conversation. Women can't fix this. We're not in the decision-making powers at scale like men are, so they're critical to the success.
Brilliant. That seems like a very good and positive way to end it. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon, Yvonne.
Thank you.